everybody, welcome and welcome back to my YouTube channel. This is Shiko. I'm so glad that you could join me today. If this is your first time here, karibu sana. If you're returning back to watch my videos, thank you so much for staying with me and coming back to watch my videos. And in this channel, I'm more about self-discovery, self-awareness, and I'm very passionate about mental health wellness. And I talk about different topics every day as it relates to our day-to-day life activities. And these are things that I have observed from the society. I like to say that I'm a keen observer of the society, and there are also things that I have gone through on a personal level in my personal journey through life, and also some of the things that I have studied. I'm currently going through university, and so these are topics that I am I am studying as well. And so today I just wanted to talk about toxic parents. I have seen videos of people just coming out to say that their parents were toxic or are toxic, and I just wanted to expound a little bit on what that means, or how you could tell that your parent is toxic, and how to define, just to know if your parent is toxic. And so I know this is a very sensitive topic because in the African culture, we are really taught and we are really expected to respect our parents and to talk highly about them, and also have high regard of our parents. But the truth is, some parents are toxic, and parents can be toxic. And so I'll first start by describing what toxic means generally, and this is according to me. This is my own perspective. And so most of the time, toxic is a term that is used to describe someone who may behave in a way that is hurtful to others. Somebody who may behave in a way that is hurtful to others, not harmful, hurtful. Their behaviors, their repeated behaviors or actions, or even words may bring stress or anxiety to somebody. That is what toxic generally means. So if somebody's behavior or words or actions may be hurtful to someone, or they may cause stress or anxiety, is what is generally referred to as a toxic person. So a toxic parent is somebody who exudes, behavior, actions, or words that are toxic that are stressful, or cause anxiety, or are hurtful to their kids. And so so how can you tell if a parent is toxic? Because sometimes you may not understand what are the things to look out for to know that your parent is toxic. So I will just give some few things here and there, just things that can not necessarily mean they have to mean that a parent is toxic, but they can be indicators that a parent is toxic. So number one, it would be lack of empathy. Empathy is the ability to put yourself in somebody else's shoes, just to be able to relate to another person in their journey through life, or in whatever they are going through. And so there are parents who lack empathy. There are parents who lack to really understand their kids, or really understand what their kids are going through. And that can be an indicator of a toxic parent, because they might be, they might dismiss what you're feeling, they might dismiss what you're going through, they might even dismiss your struggles through life, and that can be an indicator of a toxic parent. The other thing would be competitiveness. Some parents can be very competitive to with their kids, instead of cheering their kids on, instead of being happy for their kids, instead of being being happy of their success. They want to measure up to their kids, they want to diminish your compliments. They want to ignore that you have achieved success, or you have done something that is giving you joy. So if you have a parent who is constantly competing with you, or measuring up to you, that can be an indicator that that's a toxic parent. The other thing is they lack boundaries. uh, as you're getting as you're growing older, you discover that you are your own person. You are your own person. Uh, away from your parents, you are your own human being. And so a toxic parent can lack boundaries. They will intrude your personal space, and they will be like, they won't accept that you're a grown-up or you are an adult, and you're separate from them. And so they'll keep on really 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 um just intruding your space, and not even really respecting your decision, and respecting your privacy, and respecting your own space. So they tend to just intrude your privacy and intrude your personal life, and you're an adult, right? And they have taught you to grow up and be independent, but you're still not independent, because they will keep on intruding your privacy and your own personal space. So that can be an indicator that you have a toxic parent. The other thing would be they are cruel. They are just parents who are just mean for no reason. They are just, they are just nasty. They will call you names. They will, they will disrespect you, even in the presence of other people, like other, not family members necessarily, even just strangers. They will just, just be, they are just mean. They just, call you names. They will say, they will like try to invalidate you. They will try to even like downplay your feelings. That's an indicator of a toxic parent, because a parent is not supposed to be cruel to their kids. And it's one of the indicators that a parent is a toxic parent. The other thing would be blaming. blaming and sometimes when you tell your parents of how you're feeling, and they blame you, or of how you're feeling, and yet they have caused they have caused some, whatever your is distressing you, they have caused it, and they are not taking responsibility, and rather putting it on you, then that is a sign of a toxic parent. Because you know everybody needs to own up to their own behavior and their own character. And so when somebody is not owning up to their character, then that's an indication of a toxic parent. That is blaming. Also, another thing that a toxic parent can exude is manipulation. When a parent is twisting the truth, and they want to make themselves look good, or like, when you tell them, hey, this situation isn't good for me, and they are like twisting it to make themselves good, that I did this because of that, and not necessarily just trying to understand, or whatever you're trying to communicate. They want to just twist it to make themselves look good, and then you're the bad person. That's an indicator of a manipulate, or of a toxic parent. Manipulation has never been good. Anybody who exudes manipulation is that's a toxic person. Doesn't have to be necessarily a parent. If somebody tries to not own up, or twist the truth to make themselves look good, that's not a good person. The other thing is that a toxic parent can be controlling. They can be controlling. They can be they can like to be in charge of your life, your decisions. They want to be in charge of how you dress, how you interact, how you make friends. They want to be in charge of your friendships. That's an indication of a toxic parent, because you're supposed, as an adult and as a kid, you're supposed to be independent, to make friendships, to you need to be independent of how you dress. You need to be in charge of how you make decisions. If you keep feeling the need of consulting your parent on a certain issue that affects your life, that can also be an indicator that you are controlled, and you are not in charge of your own decisions. And so it's very important to be very, very independent. So control is one of the things that can tell that somebody is a toxic parent. When a toxic parent can also come off as somebody who is not very affirmative, like they don't offer affirmation and security. And affirmation means, just being there to cheer you on, just to affirm you, to validate you as their kid. And lack of security is lack of feeling that you are not safe with them. Not in terms of somebody can come and get you out of your parents' house. No, not that. Security in the sense that you can tell them what you're going through and not feel judged, and not feel dismissed, and not feel unwanted. So toxic parent may fail to give you affirmation and emotional security, I would say, and also mental security of knowing that your parent is going to be there for you no matter what. So if you feel that you cannot be able to go to your parent for affirmation and security, it might be an indication that you have a toxic parent, because you feel like you're constantly walking on eggshells. You don't know what to expect from them. You don't know what to say to them. You don't know how they will respond to a certain issue that is troubling you internally. So yeah, that is an indication for a parent who is not who is a toxic parent. The other thing is toxic parents normally don't allow their kids to express emotions, and not just any emotions, because everybody wants to be given good stuff, right? You all want to be told, oh, something good, like, oh, I'm happy, or maybe you're beautiful or something. But if you have a parent who doesn't allow you to express your negative emotions, then that might be an indication that you have a toxic parent. If your parent dismisses your negative feelings and emotion, and they cannot be able to really help you go through those negative emotions, and also even for you to express to them the negative emotions that they have caused, then that's an indication of a toxic parent. Because as a child, if you're not able to express your negative feelings to your parents, or if you have negative feelings and you know that your parent cannot be able to receive whatever you're feeling that is negative, that can really cause to depression and anxiety and PTSD at times. So it's really important for parents to give their kids a platform where they are able to express themselves, not only the positive emotion, even the negative ones. And one of the things is what makes somebody feel very triggered and traumatized and experience even anxiety and stress and become even depressed is not the happy emotions, it's the negative emotions that we are normally faced with on a day-to-day life activities, like failure, like somebody has bullied your child, somebody has called your child fat, or maybe has called your kid's name, or maybe a teacher was very aggressive towards your child. Can you imagine if you are not able to express that as a child, or if you are able to express but your parent is not able to pick up whatever you're going through, then that is going to make you depressed or anxious or even stressed. That is going to change you as a person. And if you have parents, some parents really don't know how to really they don't really know how to handle with negative emotions. But I tend to think even listening to someone, not necessarily giving them solution of their problems, even listening to someone is solving the problem, almost like half solving the problem. So that is one thing. The other thing, and this is the last point that I'm going to put out, is if your parent, a toxic parent, can be very critical. They criticize everything that you do, literally. Like even the smallest thing that you do, they are just, they are very critical over it. Nothing is ever good enough. You will never do anything that is good enough in their eyes, and that's a sign of a toxic parent, because a parent should be happy for their kid. A parent should cheer on a kid whenever the kid is, taking initiative of bettering their life, even becoming independent from them. If they are feeling critical of you taking steps of, being independent, and they criticize everything that you do, that's a sign of a toxic parent. um there are other thing, and I know I have said it's the last thing, but I'll say one last more thing. It's anger. There are parents who are just angry, and they can be angry on even decisions that you make about your life, just because you didn't consult them, or you didn't consult with them on how you should go a particular thing that affects your life. They can be angry because of that, and they can be harsh and aggressive, or even sometimes passive aggressive, or they can even give you silent treatment, or even sometimes just saying some funny comments when you do something, or maybe when you're around they are saying some funny comments, or even maybe you wanted something from them and you told them and they forget. That can be a sign of a toxic parent, because a toxic parent can be angry on you for no apparent reason. So and sometimes I do really think that you know when not it's not every time that when a parent is angry it means that they are toxic, but if this is something that they have repeatedly done throughout your life, then that can be an indication of being toxic. Because there are times even we as children, or as a kid, you can do something that angers your parent, but that doesn't mean that you cannot move past that. If it doesn't get past that, and it doesn't grow from that, then that's an indication of having a toxic parent. So I really hope that this video is going to be helpful to you. If not to you, maybe to somebody that you know. And you can feel free to share, comment, subscribe, and tell your friends about this topic, or maybe somebody that you know is really struggling with their relationship with their parents, and I think it's going to be very helpful for them. And just before I go, I also like saying that parents sometimes really get kids when they really don't understand what it really means to raise kids. And there are some parents who got kids while they are still kids themselves, because it takes time for the mind and the brain to really mature. And having a kid as a parent is not only being able to provide for the kid, like clothes and shoes and all this stuff. It's good, and even being able to provide food, but there is more that goes into raising a kid. A kid has emotional needs, they have mental needs, and some parents are not in a position where they can be able to provide for another human being emotionally, mentally, spiritually, and even physically at times. And so some of the parents become really toxic because they didn't know any better. They didn't have even like they didn't even see other people modeling what good parenting really means. And modeling is also very, very important, because as human beings we at times tend to do what we saw, or what we were taught, or what we were socialized to do. And so some people just don't know how to go about this issue of parenting. And so if you're a parent watching this, and if you are a child watching this, just uh be very in tune with what type of a person you are, and be very open to criticism and to learning, and to just admitting that you didn't know any better. If you know that you're a parent that was toxic to your kids, just admit that I was toxic, but I didn't know any better, and make good steps to being a better version of yourselves. If you're a kid that has had a toxic parent, be very understanding of them, because maybe some of our parents didn't have mentors, they didn't have models, they also grew up in very toxic environments, and so they themselves are also toxic, not because they really want to be toxic, but because that's their normal, that is what they saw growing up. And so be very kind to them, be very patient with them, but also at the same time, you need to understand that parents are human beings too, and they are not, some angels who just fell from the heavens. They are also human beings, they do make mistakes. And so don't be very, very like harsh to them, but also at the same time understand that you also need to heal from those toxic relationships. So I hope to see you in my next video, and until then, may God be with you, may God watch over you, may his light shine upon you. Thanks for watching.